session. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gauravaktarunda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yatkripātamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mishwaram Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So the numbers are coming down. Initially, when we started this session, it was almost 40 of them, and now it is just 10. So it shows that this 10 people, you're all really very interested. Very happy to see you all here again back after a long gap. We had New Year celebration, we had Vaikuntheka, seen so many other festivals. So we'll continue with the Dhruva Maharaj's prayers, Dhruva Maharaj's whole activities. Yonanta pravishya mama vachamima prasuktam sanjeevayatya kila shakti nam Anyasahastam sharanatravagadim pranam namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. So last session we had discussion. So to recap what we discussed in the last session, it was that the Uttanapada had departed and Dhruva Maharaj got married and he had two wives and he had got three sons and a daughter from his two wives. And later, many years went by, passed by. He was ruling his kingdom very wonderfully, beautifully, gloriously. And suddenly, there was a shocking news. We all got to know that how his younger brother, Uttama, so he had gone for his hunting excursion. So there he was killed by a powerful Yaksha. I'm just recapping. So this is all just revising what we had earlier discussed in the last session. But since the session was very long and we might have lost the connection, so I'm just again telling that I just refreshing the whole memory. So because of that great intense pain, so even his own mother, his mother, Uttama's mother was Suruchi. So that was Dhruva's stepmother. So because of that intense pain, she could not. She immediately went in search of his son, of her son, and because of a forest fire, she was killed. So practically, um his stepbrother and stepmother. So both were killed. And when this series of events, when Dhruva got to know about, when he heard this, and he became really disturbed. So this year, one thing what we last time also discussed was Dhruva, that why this Uttama and his Suruchi was killed. So this is very much important to know that here that they were punished so severely because they had offended Dhruva when Dhruva was much more, just 5 years old. So even though they had transformed later a lot, but still, they had undergone a lot of transformation after that. So even though there is once past misdeed or some fault of some person, so even after he repented or he rectified that mistake, but still they were killed. Yes. So this is Lord wanted to teach a lesson here that if you offend a devotee, no matter whatever it is, it definitely will lead to the punishment. and then you have to one has to go undergo that punishment, has to face that the pain. So here we have to understand that even though they had left their bodies in the forest, but they had got, in Bhagavatam ends with the saying that they had got a better destination the next life because they had association with the pure devotee Dhruva. So obviously they were elevated. So that was ends with that. Bhagavatam ends with that in that this thing. So even the pure devotee here, when Dhruva became very angry against this Yakshas, that they killed his stepbrother, that was very unlawful. So Dhruva became very angry and he lost his composure because of his emotions. So he wanted to, so he took his bow and arrow and he wanted to wage a war against this Yakshas. So immediately he picked up his both bow and arrow and he went to with chariot alone. So that also last time we had discussed that he did not took his whole army to fight against the Yakshas. He just went alone. So very importantly, we have to see that how a devotee wants to minimize other suffering. Yes, one thing is his brother was being killed. So here, very importantly, we have to understand this information Lord Vishnu had informed Dhruva when the Vishnu himself had appeared in front of Dhruva that his stepbrother and mother will be killed because of the offense which they had done. So this was well known to the whole people and the whole society. And Dhruva wanted to make sure that he was not envious even after so many years, even after seeing the Lord face to face. So he wanted to ensure and to make people understand, and is a lesson to the people that a pure devotees are never envious with anyone. So he wanted just to show to the world. So he went to wage war against the Yakshas and to punish the Yakshas, which who had killed his stepbrother unlawfully. So, and one more important, as a the king, as a responsible king, it was his responsibility also to to bring law and order in place. So, even though Dhruva was infuriated, he was we may call that he was a pure devotee and things like that. But we have to understand that even the devotee also is not stone-hearted. They are not emotionless. So they also have some appropriate emotions to be put out, and that appropriate emotions has to be properly dealt with. So this is very much important that even though amidst the pure devotee beings equipoised and very compassionate, and there is no, they consider the success and failure and happiness and distress, and they are equipoised and they don't have any ego. They know the law of nature and everything, but still they are not stone-hearted, right? Devotees, just like Arjuna also, they are no, it's not stone-hearted. So Dhruva wanted to teach the Yakshas a lesson that because of Suruchi and Uttama, he took it in a different way, that because of them, I was inspired to attain Lord Vishnu. So this is very important, that last time also we had discussed that philosophically we may be very much sound, we may be very much educated, we are knowledgeable in philosophy, but that doesn't make one stone-hearted. We should not make our heart should be very soft-hearted after reading all the scriptures, things like that, right? So as a king, his responsibility also to punish the offender. So that was his responsibility. That because he was unceremoniously, his brother was killed unlawfully. His brother was killed, and to bring the law and order in place, that he raised a war. He went to the Alakapuri, that is in the foothills of Himalayas, where Yakshas stay. So he goes there, and he calls out for Yakshas for a fight. And last session, we discussed how that all the yakshas who come in that something like some lack of yakshas, they all come with their armors, with their bow and arrows, everything to counteract attack the Dhruva. So here we have then we also know that how the war was so fierce between the Yakshas and the Dhruva alone, and all the Yakshas, they were throwing arrows and everything to Dhruva, to kill Dhruva. But Dhruva was very, he was so enthused, he was so encouraged in fact to see such a huge number, that Kshatriya spirit. So even though he was completely covered by all the arrows from the Yakshas, nevertheless he was not he was deterred. So he was undeterred by, or he was not disturbed by this Yakshas attack. So in fact, Dhruva's competency and determination, it increased multifold. So very much important that sometimes happens in our life when we face something, obstacles in our life, which is inevitable in our life, which can't be stopped. We have to suffer. So that time, what happens? We lose motivation, inspiration, the desire to live, and we suicide. Many things happens, right? So when such obstacle comes in our life, by seeing the Dhruva's life, we have to understand that we should not get demotivated. We should not get completely put off. So rather, our enthusiasm should become more, and we should be more inspired to fight out to attain the success, right? So Dhruva is showing that in spite there was a torrential rains of all the weapons from the Yakshas to kill Dhruva, and still Dhruva was unaffected. And the Bhagavatam says that all the devatas were just watching out what would happen. All the arrows and the spear headed the weapons and everything was just attacking, was just covering Dhruva. Oh, now Dhruva is killed and a great soul is lost. So they're all thinking like that. But immediately the Dhruva, with all more inspiration and more motivation, he fought out, and practically it was so speechless, and he fought so bravely, and all the Yakshas, they were so terrorized. They were so terrorized by Dhruva's fight. One single person. So Dhruva shattered every Yaksha's weapon, and he completely, all the Yakshas become so afraid. And immediately what happened? All the Yakshas immediately they disappeared. So, and all the Yakshas immediately disappeared from the battleground. And now Dhruva thought, let me enter the Alakapuri now. Alakapuri was the main city of Yakshas. Let me enter now and again kill more Yakshas there. Oh, they all have fled away because of fear of my fight. So, but immediately Dhruva immediately thought that he saw that no, let me not do that. Let me wait for some time. This Yakshas are very mystical people, and they might have fled away now, but they may not be visible now. But definitely they will resume their attack. So I should be very careful. I should be cautious. I should not trust this Yakshas. So this was very wonderful thing, which Dhruva also he paused. He paused for a time. So one of the secrets of our success in our life is also we have to see that whenever we achieve some goal in our life, we should be always further alerted that we should not be overconfident. So sometimes when we achieve something, just like now book marathon is going and you go and distribute some book and you distribute so many books and you feel so soothing, so happy, so elated. And so I have done something great. I can do this great. So sometimes you become overconfident, right? Or when you achieve something, you become overconfident. But you should be always alerted. Dhruva is showing here that anytime this Yakshas who ran away from the battlefield may immediately come back. So Dhruva did not accept the victory immediately. Instead, he paused for a time. He reflected for a time. He just waited for some time. That he was just contemplating upon the future action of this Yakshas. What would they do? So many a times it happens in our life. Actually, the greatest difficulty in our life is to manage this mind and senses, isn't it? Sometimes when we get something, we get elated. Sometimes we lose something, we become so morose and depressed and distressed. So this mind and senses are the greatest enemies which are right in our heart, in our body. That because mind is a storehouse of so many unlimited vasanas or so many emotions which are there in our or impressions. Vasanas means impressions which have gone through so many lifetimes and this lifetime. So every time now and then it keeps popping out and distracting and distracts our main goal to achieve the success. Many times it so times happens. So we all become sometimes victimized by this mind, distracted mind, and poor senses also, just follows the mind. So we have to understand always we should be alert to see that here that we should never give any weight or any place to the mind to take over us. So yes, mind is always disturbed. That is its nature. So we should always we should always be attentive. We should never become inattentive because mind and senses are very strong and it can come back anytime. Now it may, we may feel that you are very much sober and settled, gentle. Oh, it's become sadhu. Mind has become very sadhu now. It is not at all disturbing me. It is not at all asking anything for me. It is always just listening whatever I'm saying in my thing. But should be just Dhruva is saying, it should always be alert, attentive like Dhruva. So even anything, so this is very important that we have to know that we have to win over our inner enemies. That is more important than winning over an external enemies. So till here we had discussed in our previous session. So today we'll furthermore continue, and I hope that today we'll try to end this Dhruva's pastime here and get all the important the moral values from this story, from this great personality. So further, what happened then, Dhruva? So here we have to understand further that when Dhruva started doubting his enemies that these people may again come back any moment. So says as he was waiting, he started hearing some huge voice, like ocean voice. The ocean, there someone is raging a war against you. A huge voice, from all directions he started hearing. So all the clouds started becoming very dark, and all gust of storm and everything started accumulating, and the whole area when he was there became so dark, and in the dense clouds, and the sky was completely thundering with all the rumbling sound and thunder sound and things was happening, and it was all dark, and completely he was lost, and there was flashing of lights was coming there, and he was to create a fear, this yakshas to create a fear in the minds of Dhruva. They created some illusion around him. So it started raining down, but raining with not with the water, raining with the blood. Torrents of blood started raining, and the mucus, pus, stool, urine, and the torsos, basically the half part of the humans, and it all started falling from the sky. And it was so perplexing, it's so disturbing, and so horrible to look at that. So here, anyone who gets to see such things, what will immediately happen? We all become very afraid, isn't it? We become shaken. We will become disturbed. It's because we have never seen such phenomena in our life. So, when Dhruva is experiencing all those things, immediately he saw a lot of the swords and iron clubs and spears and arrows, and all those things was charging at Dhruva at great speed. They're all coming in different directions, and all the beasts like a lion and the bears and the tigers and all those things also, they're also coming. And one side there's a torrential rain of blood and mucus, pus, and half cut bodies of humans. It's all falling from the sky, and it's very dark, and it's thunderstorm, lightning, and here the all the spears and the swords and the arrows are all trying to attack him or charging at him. And the other side, all the animals, fierce, ferocious animals, mad elephants, serpents, lions, tigers, are all trying to attack Dhruva and want to devour him. All these things was created by yakshas. So, see, sometimes Prabhupada says there, when you are not able to achieve something good, then immorally you will achieve something. you resort to something illegal means. Sometimes people people try to follow moral codes. So you should be very dharmic or like that. Become very dharmic. When everything is going on well, they will become very dharmic. But when some difficult times come in their life, immediately they resort to all illegal means. So similarly, here yakshas are showing that they were not able to achieve by rightful means. So they are trying to disturb the Dhruva's mindset. So this was a demoniac. This yakshas by nature they create such things. So they created such a fearful condition that the opponent should become very much afraid, and he should lose his confidence, he should lose his determination, he should lose his willpower, and immediately they can conquer. This is very much important lesson here. Amidst all this chaos, Dhruva was not at all disturbed an inch. He was not at all, he was disturbed or taken back or perplexed, nothing. He was very cool, calm, composed. He was a man of dignity. He was a man of sobriety, and he was so much. He has so much of confidence in him. Here it shows that we have to learn in our life. We should never lose confidence in our life. Even when mind when becomes weak, others can attack us only when mind becomes weak. Just like some people are ghost haunted. Why this ghost haunted? Because their mind has become very weak. Just like when you see some horror movies today, night you see some horror movies. Somewhere in you are seeing the mirror, but immediately when some face appears in front of you, or when you switch off the light, you hear some sound, or you switch off the light, some light just passes you. What will happen? Your confidence will come down. You lose faith. So, as a devotees of Krishna, it's very much important that we have to strengthen our confidence in Krishna. Avashya rakshate Krishna Vishwasa Balava Drudam. So that Vishwas has become very strong. There's nothing that which can come and disturb me. So Dhruva is trying to show us that how a devotee should behave amidst all those, even though practically, physically, he was able to feel all those things, all the negativities right in front of him, he was not disturbed. So there's a great, so the Dhruva Maharaj is trying to show that how we should have become hopeful that Krishna is there with us, Prabhupada is there with us, and my sadhana which I have done for so many years, that is going to save me, and nothing else can disturb me. And that confidence is what we have to strengthen it time and again. So then, as Dhruva Maharaj was so much confident in this, and immediately, because of that confidence, because of that, the purity within him, that strength brought the sages to Dhruva. So all the great sages heard that Dhruva is waging a war against his yakshas. Yakshas are trying to overpower him with all his weapons, with all his the illegal means and illusion. Then immediately, because of his confidence, the sages came. So very importantly, Lord, when a Lord is there, when you're confident in your heart, Lord is there in the heart of sages, Lord is there in the heart of demigods, Lord is there in the heart of so many people, right? So immediately, Lord felt, oh, now the Dhruva needs some moral support. Oh, all the sages, please go there. So even though he was very strong, but the strength of his confidence on the Lord attracted the grace of the sadhus. So all the sadhus came there on the battlefield, immediately appeared there and started encouraging the Dhruva. And they started saying that, see, everyone has to face some problems in our life. It is natural. So we have to understand. So they started giving a lot of philosophy and understanding and support that there's nothing to worry, that we have to face those adversities in our life. This is a part of our life. And the Lord Vishnu, please, and they said to Dhruva that you have seen the Lord Vishnu at the age of 5 years, and you know better than all of us. Now you remember Lord Vishnu, who is holding the saranga, who is holding the bow and arrows. So please meditate upon that great Lord. So then remember him, take his holy name, and empower your arrows with those holy name, and then charge at all the yakshas, and everything will be clear. So, so very much important. Devotees of the Lord are more powerful than any yakshas. It shows here, because yakshas are even trying to come and attack the pure devotee here. But the devotees are there to help us from behind, amidst all of adversities in our life. That's what I'm saying. We all have to face some adversities in our life. This problem, that problem, so many problems. But we are very confident and very cool, calm, composed, and things like that. And wait for the time, pause, and then react, and then respond. Then obviously the Lord feels so happy about that great soul, and Lord sends the devotees to give some moral support to encourage the devotee, and that is more important, right? Internally, when we are very strong, we can face anything in this material world. But if internally we are very weak, no matter what powerful things come from outside to help you, it will not help you. It will not really make you happy. So we have to understand. So to different circumstances in our life, many things happens, but we need the grace of the devotees. So then they say that all the sages say, please empower, invest the power of the holy name on this weapons which you are going to charge at this yakshas, simply by chanting and hearing the name of the Lord Vishnu, and all the fear and all the death can be even be afraid of that. So you should invoke the presence of the Lord's holy name in your weapons. And as Narada himself, as a guru, had given that mantra, and by chanting that mantra, Dhruva had become God Siddhi, and Dhruva knew how to invoke the presence of the Lord in his weapons, and immediately started meditating. So, taking the instruction of all the sages, and the Lord, he invoked the presence of Lord's holy name into this in his weapons, and immediately, as he was thinking, as he was meditating, all the illusions started dispelling off, and all the spell of this yakshas started disappearing immediately. So, devotees association is very much important, and it provides a great support and inspiration for us in our life. And even though we know the chanting of the holy name is very much important and is the only means for our success and our deliverance, but time and again, when the devotees come in different tone, to come and tell in different way, come and tell in different situation, that has a more impact in our lives. Even though we know chanting of the holy name is the only way, but when the devotees say, whenever some situations arise in our life and difficulties, adversities are in their life, but that gives a different color, a different encouragement to us to take things forward. So we may have sometimes a lot of intelligence and knowledge to solve our problems. We think that we can solve our problems, but we have to understand the right kind of idea, right kind of solution. If it has to come, it will not come when you are in difficult times. Many times it happens like that. We may be so much intelligent, but when things go wrong in our life, many times when we face problems in our life, we become so overwhelmed. We completely forget what to do. We don't know what to apply, what solution to do now. So many times in those situations, those times, we require a lot of well-wishers, our devotees, those well-wishers. That's what I'm saying. We should make we have only a few handful of devotees which we can count when you see a whole world, right? And we should make good friendship and relationship with every devotee who is taken the name of the holy name of the Lord, and who are following the principles and sadhana, so that we don't know all these well-wishers at the point of our need, they will come and definitely it will help us. So very much important for us to cultivate a lifelong relationship with every devotee, that we have to really work upon, so that, because a success in our life is not one person achievement. uh, so our success can't be purchased some overnight, isn't it? So we have to depend upon there's a multiple hands in our lives which helps us attain success. So this it may be right kind of association, right kind of guidance, right kind of support, And this all comes from our well-wishers. And this is very much important that well-wishers are also part of our success. So this is very much important that support is given sometimes when you are, that's what I'm saying. Now you have to work. When you work so well with our relationship with other devotees, obviously, even without your ask, even without your request, that support will come in because they are seeing it that you are suffering, isn't it? So here, Dhruva Maharaj is one more important part. Dhruva Maharaj never asked for encouragement or support from the sadhus or blessings from sadhus. Automatically, it was given without even being requested. So because he was very selfless, right? So we have much important human is we have to understand when we undergo a lot of troubles and distresses, the divine energy which comes through to help us. So Dhruva here also, and when he took his arrows and tried to fix his arrows, his bow, his arrows and to charge against the Yakshas. It was so powerful with the Naranastra. He chanted the Naranastra mantra and immediately, and all the illusion which was created by the Yakshas got immediately vanquished, got disappeared. Everything went off and arrows, then the Dhruvas started releasing the arrows one by one, and so many yakshas who are disguised or who had disappeared and immediately started getting killed. So Dhruva immediately killed so many yakshas, tearing off their bodies, bellies, heads, legs, and immediately they all the yakshas started running away here and there, and practically half of Yaksha's clan was killed by Dhruva. Dhruva went beyond its limits. So here very much important, anger when it's unchecked, what happened? It only increases. So it was, we have to understand here, even though he was a pure devotee, even though being pure devotee, you can be conquered by anger and lust. So here it's showing, so even though Uttama was killed by one Yaksha killed Uttama, and because of one person mistake, why Dhruva Maharaj has to kill so many Yakshas? Because, right, it is not lawful and it is not good, and it is not reasonable. And why to kill so hundreds of Yakshas or thousands of Yakshas just for mistake of one person? So how appropriate it was there. So very much important to know that Dhruva started killing so many of them and his anger was unchecked. So he started killing so many yakshas. So very much important when we don't check our anger, when anger it takes over us, it charges over us. Even the great souls also may lose some self-control and become subservient to such anger. So, very important to understand for us to show here that even though a person becomes a pure devotee, one should be always alert. Actually, pure devotee should be always alert only. But here it is showing that, yeah, you may, if you don't check your anger, it will take over, it will charge you. So he started killing some yakshas, but almost it came to the point that he started destroying the whole clan, whole race of yakshas. Just because of one Yaksha's mistake, how it can be justified, isn't it? So we have to understand, we have to see that we should check the anger before it checks us. So Prabhupada very beautifully says that this anger is such a nasty thing that when anger has to see anger, lust, greed, envy has to be properly utilized in proper way. It can't be completely eradicated. So it should be controlled anger, not controlled by anger. So Prabhupada says controlled anger, controlled by anger. So controlled anger is always good because we have to show anger towards our juniors or our children or someone so that we can reprimand them so that they can learn something good, or from our peers or from our in office or something like that, whom the people whom they are reporting to you, they have to show some anger if they're not properly performing. So controlled anger is most important, which brings a positive change and which helps in strengthening our relationship. But if it is controlled by anger, it only disturbs relationship. That is what we have to learn from here, Dhruva. How that it was controlled, it became controlled to uncontrolled anger. That is also sometimes very difficult. So you should have a proper sense how much to use that anger. So then what happened immediately when he started, Dhruva started killing every yaksha, and this news was got to know by his grandfather Swayambhu Manu. And Swayambhu Manu himself, he came over there and came there and he started speaking to Dhruva and saying that Swayambhu Manu started appeared, and he stopped that the whole war which was happening there. It was because of Dhruva's uncontrolled anger. So then the Dhruva, so Swayambhu Manu started preaching to Dhruva, saying that this is Dhruva, please stop this. This is not good for you. And because you are a pure devotee of the Lord, and very much important here that Swayambhu Manu has come over there and he's preaching to Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj is also, he has stopped the war and he started listening from his grandfather. So he offered his obeisances and everything. And this is very much important to know that how the Dhruva Maharaj is showing to the world, teaching to the world, how we have to really respect the culture of respecting our well-wishers, culture of respecting our seniors, our elders. That is very much important because elders which are there in our life have seen more than what we have seen, right? And they are greatest assets actually for younger generation. But sadly, what is happening now because of this mobile and Google and AI, so they stopped associating with the elders or taking knowledge from the elders or getting experience from the elders. So the big barrier has been built now, and as a result of this, they lack experience. They may get the knowledge, but they lack experience because parents have experience when they preach to their children or grandchildren. Obviously, they preach with the emotion or the whatever the experience they undergone that touches their hearts, the hearts of the children or grandchildren, and that is something very great. That experience, because naturally, well, the who are the well wishers? Our elders are well wishers, right? So younger ones have to take guidance from them so that they can go in the right path. That is because every elder station is what, or let this the younger one should not repeat the same mistake as I've done, isn't it? So similarly, here also we have to understand here that we have to allow make. Sadly, our culture is not allowing that. So we have to really look upon some ways and means so that we connect the younger generation to the older generation. That is our responsibility. So otherwise, they lack respect for the elders and they miss the opportunity to take benefit from them, isn't it? And they become immature. So we have to take benefit from the elders, whatever is available. So here, Dhruva Maharaj, he respectfully offered obeisances and everything to his grandfather, and he started saying that, "Oh, Dhruva, you're so exalted. You're so successful in all your accomplishment. Why you're committing this mistake? And please understand that you are such a great devotee." So even when even you see that Bhagavad Gita also, when Arjuna was completely perplexed, so when he was completely confused in the battle. So at the moment it was a crisis, he didn't know what to do. So then Krishna guided him and he everything got cleared. Nastamo Smatilabdva, isn't it? So Arjuna could so that Arjuna could properly discharge his duty after hearing the instruction from Krishna. So here Dhruva also, when he became very angry and lost his discriminative power to look at and really think over, rather than killing the Yakshas like that. So his this mistake was found out by the Swayambhu Manu, and he came down and he started explaining him. He started preaching him that violence, yes, Dhruva, the violence has to be used, but it should be properly used, and it should not be used for the people who have not done any wrong. So should not show such atrocities should not be shown. So unnecessarily you should not create some disturbance in the society, and we have to very much careful that we should never hurt or harm the innocent people. And such violence, if you do to innocent people, it only leads a person to hell. So, very much important that we should properly discriminate where to use the violence and not to use the violence. That is a maturity. That is a maturity of the human society. So that's what the Swayambhu Manu started preaching to Dhruva Maharaj in this way, that this is very much important for you, that you should be matured enough to properly understand and should be cultured enough to properly understand. Don't make this mistake. Should differentiate such things. Don't become egoistic. Don't become uncultured. And please understand. Please understand. Take this good advice from me. And like this, I started explaining all those things and trying to rectify the mistake of the Dhruva, and so that he doesn't repeat it again, things like that. And immediately, Dhruva also, got back to his senses, and he said that he came back to senses that yes, what Swayambhu Manu is saying is right. This is a grandfather who has come over here, and circumstantially, because of such circumstance, I've forgotten my position. I've forgotten my situation with things, what I should do. And please understand here, sometimes we may understand why Dhruva Maharaj also might have done this. Such a great person also may prone to forget things, isn't it? We may think. So very much important that here it is all circumstantially he was forgetful, just to show a lesson to a lesson to us. So, but his essential nature is something different, isn't it? Dhruva Maharaj's essential nature is something different, and further we will get to know what is the real nature. So, Dhruva Maharaj then when Swayambhu Manu said, "Hey, Dhruva, after you leave your body, you'll go back to Vaikuntha. You're such a pure devotee and you're exemplary. I'm very much surprised. Why you're taking this task of annihilating the whole Ikshas? It's not all good for you. So please, when he expressed in this way, the unexpected behavior of this Dhruva, and immediately Dhruva also came back to his conscious. He started coming back to his conscious, and he realized he heard something great. But people who are very egoistic, people who are very much rude, they never hear any good advice from the elders or the seniors or the experienced people. So rather than that, what they do, then I know think better what to do. Why you are telling me? I know better. So generally it comes in, right. So when the Swayambhu Manu was so much preaching that please show up your tolerance, tolerance should be there, compassion should be there, all those things should be there. That is importance of being a devotee of Lord Vishnu. And please don't the law. Swayambhu Manu speaks about the law of karma and all those things. A lot of philosophy goes on there, even though Dhruva Maharaj all knows all those things. So then after hearing, so Dhruva Maharaj accepted that it is my fault and started regretting it. I have done some great mistake by killing these Yakshas. And Swayambhu Manu immediately he says that you have disturbed the whole Yaksha community, and also the master or the lord of Yaksha community was a Kubera. Kubera is a great devotee of Lord Shiva. So you should be very intelligent, Dhruva. Please go to Kubera and ask forgiveness from him. So ask forgiveness from him. This is all because of law of karma. Things happen. Already Lord Vishnu had already told you that Uttama will be killed and your mother, stepmother also will be killed. All those things you know. This all hands of Lord Vishnu. This just happened. It has happened. There, Prabhupada gives example of the postman. So Prabhupada says that if a postman brings and gives a parcel to you, and that's supposed to be an attractive gift, and opening that gift, you become so elated, so happy that you start appreciating and glorifying the postman for bringing that wonderful gift. But you have completely forgotten the person who has sent the gift or sent the courier. Or sometimes it so happens when that the postman has brought something bad news to you, and you started scolding the postman. Why did you bring bad news to me? And you delivered such a news to me. So doesn't work out right. So in either case, postman is just doing his task, is doing his job. Similarly, people in this world also, we should act in such a way that many times, life, so much things, it triggers happiness and sometimes and distress and sometimes. So ultimate cause for happiness and distress is only because of our karma, or we are simply instruments in the hand of our karma. And Swayambharam also explains about how your own mother, when she underwent all the distresses, she isn't it that she accepted, it's because of our own misfortune that she is experiencing all these things. So why you have come to this? Please now get back to your conscious. Go, don't be agitated. So ask forgiveness from the Kubera, and with your prayers, and this one only suffice. Otherwise, it will very much disturb. It will disturb you in your further progress in your spiritual life. So here Dhruva Maharaj started regretting, and he learned from this mistake. There's a honest regret here. So humanly, we are the maturity in our life is only when we start looking back and just analyzing our own actions, rather than saying that he is wrong, he is the cause of my suffering, things like that. So Dhruva was very much impressed by his Swayambhuma grandfather's the preaching, and even though he knew all those things, that's what I'm saying. Before also, the devotees in our life, you also know, read Prabhupada books and hear classes and things like that, philosophy. But when sometimes when you're when the stressful mind, depressed and distressed, that time none of the solutions, none of this philosophy will really come to our effect, because material nature is like that. We are not being trained so well. We are not pure devotees. He becomes very much disturbed. Even the pure devotees also wants to be very much careful also. At that time, the devotees will be sent, and great the devotees will be sent, pure devotees will be sent to make us understand. Oh, get up! They shake us. Uttishta jagrata prapta varan nimodata. They shake us, and they say. Then we start realizing, oh, this is my anger. So then Dhruva Maharaj, he prepared himself to ask the forgiveness or apologize the Kuvera, that he has done such horrible actions. His behaviors as enraged Kuvera might be. So there was a genuine repentance was happening in his heart. And when Kuvera got to know this, see again, the Paramatma is there in Kuvera's heart also. Paramatma is there in the Dhruva Maharaj's heart also. When Dhruva himself, he felt so remorseful, and he started, I mean, he stopped war, and he discontinued the war, and he listened to his grandfather and wanted to ask forgiveness from the Kuvera. And he very immediately Kuvera was, the Lord in the Kuvera's heart, and forced him to go and appear in front of Dhruva. And Dhruva, when he appeared, and Dhruva immediately folded his hands, he bowed down to Kuvera in all respects. And Kuvera also acknowledged Dhruva's, the regret, and completely he forgave him. So very much important here. We have to see how the Dhruvas see egoistic mind is something which happens. Why I have to fail? Because just because my grandfather has told me I have to give up my fighting and say I'm the loser, I'm the failure. No, that's egoistic, right? So an egoistic person generally don't acknowledge his mistakes, and that doesn't apologize. But instead, he becomes so unbending, so strong, so tensile, that because of his attitude, because of actions, he never apologizes. He never accepts his mistake. That is egoistic persons. But here, Dhruva Maharaj is showing that he's not attached to his ego. He just immediately, when his grandfather said that, immediately his thought came that, yes, I have done a mistake. I have to regret for my mistake. And Kuvera also, when he appeared there, immediately fell at his feet and started apologizing for his mistake. So very importantly, we have to understand here, when we become very egoistic, our mind doesn't bend, our ego doesn't bend. Then we continue to, even though sometimes we may say sorry in front of someone. Oh, sorry, Prabhu, sorry, Mataji, or sorry, this thing like that. Externally, but we maintain grudges. We maintain grudges or hatred nets towards the person who has committed some mistake. So because mistakes are everyone do, who doesn't do mistakes? But if you carry those grudges for a long term, and it's only disturbs, it is only toxify yourself. So here Dhruva Maharaj is showing that forget it, just fall, please ask forgiveness because my grandfather has told. And immediately Kuvera was so pleased, and he was, because of, the Dhruva was so subservient and submissive to his grandfather for his elder. And now I wish you whatever you want to tell me, Dhruva. And Dhruva said, "Oh my Kuvera, please give me unflinching faith to Krishna, unflinching faith to Lord Vishnu, so that I can constantly remember him. If at all, if you can give me any boon, give me this." Actually, Kuvera could have given so much of wealth. Could have given so much of position. He had all the powers to do that. But Dhruva did not ask anything here. Wealth, position, possessions, nothing of this world. Because Dhruva knew that everything is temporary in this material world and everything is destined to leave at one point of time. Dhruva knew this, heart to heart. Actually, Dhruva was so rich in his heart because Lord was there in his heart and he didn't want anything else from this world, any riches from this world. And one more thing we have to understand here, actually Dhruva's position as a devotee is more higher than the position of a Kuvera. Then why at all Dhruva is asking blessings from Kuvera for unflinching devotion? And the Kuvera can give unflinching devotion to Dhruva. So we have to understand Dhruva's position as a devotee of Lord Vishnu is higher than the position of Kuvera. But still, when Kuvera said, please, please, I want to give something. And Dhruva is asking, give me the unflinching faith for Krishna so that I can always remember Krishna. So here we have to understand here, Dhruva, even though he knew that he is higher than the Kubera, but he is still begging for the blessings or devotion from the Kubera. Because very importantly, we have to understand, every jiva is very important in our life. And he was concerned, Dhruva was concerned that I might have displeased a Kuvera in some way or other. And that displeasure of some soul might bring some obstacles in my devotional progress or in my remembrance to Lord. So we should never displease any soul as such, which would bring obstacles in our meditation, our remembrance of Krishna. So we should always be very cautious that we should not trouble anyone in our life unnecessarily, whether they are demigods, whether they are devotees, whether they are some living entities, whether they are animals, men, women, children, elders, brahmanas, kshatriyas, whatever may be, caste, creed, whatever nationality they may be, whichever species they may be. A devotee should never disrespect anyone. So here Dhruva is showing that I might have disrespect to you, but here, since you asked something that you would give me Krishna Bhakti. So immediately Kuvera he was very much pleased, and immediately he said no, he bestowed the boon, and he he disappeared from the place. And further, Dhruva, he returned to his kingdom, and after returning to a kingdom, and he, with all the good qualities from his grandfather blessings and sage's blessings and Kuvera's blessings and everything like that, then Dhruva conducted a lot of, they ruled for again 36,000 more years. And he did lot of yagna, dana, tapa, everything wonderfully. At one point of time, after many, many years, and when his sons were grown up, he gave responsibility to them and he put them as the next king, and he retired from the kingship. And Dhruva Maharaj, he retired from the kingship and went to the forest, went to the Badrikashrama, and at the foothills of Himalayas. And he constantly started meditating, worshipping the Lord. And he met all the sages there around. And with all their blessings, and he started increasing his tapasya, his meditation and remembrance of the Lord, chanting of the Lord. So very much importantly, two things which have to see in our life, that how in our spiritual life, very important that Dhruva Maharaj, when uh, when Dhruva Maharaj went to the Badrikashrama, he met all the sadhus and sages. He bowed down to them, and with all humility, with all respects, he stood in folded hands and started inquiring from them. Actually, very much important. We have to understand that Dhruva Maharaj was already a great pure devotee. Why he has to pray to this sages? So as many years passed by in this Badrikashrama, meditating and chanting the name of the Lord, one fine day it so happened. So immediately, one in Badrikashrama, Dhruva was engaged in his daily activities of worship the Lord, and an aeroplane from the Vaikunta, it just came there. So it came there, and Dhruva was immediately was puzzled and he didn't know what to do. And he stood up and he offered his respects to the in the aeroplane. There was Nanda and Sunanda. They were the associates of Lord Vishnu. They were Dwarapalakas, and they had come there, the Vishnu Dutas. So they had come there, and immediately when Dhruva saw that wonderful aeroplane, Vaikunta aeroplane, which had come in front of him in the Badrikashrama, he simply bowed down to it and stood in folded hands. He was chanting the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna mantra. And they saw this Nanda, Sunanda, and they started glorifying the Dhruva, that, oh Dhruva, you're such a great fortunate person. Lord Vishnu has sent us for you to bring you to a eternal abode, that is Vaikuntha planet. So your pastime in this material world has been finished. So please come with us, and you can live eternally with the Lord Vishnu there. And when they said that henceforward, Lord Vishnu has told that that planet, after you enter, it will be known as Dhruva Loka. Till now, it was just Vishnu Loka, where all the other planetary systems was just going around it. Now it is called as a North Pole, that is Dhruva Loka, and it will be yours. And you should be, and you will be eternally living with the devotees there and the Lord. And Dhruva immediately bowed down to the Nanda and Sunanda, and he went there and took bath. So in the river there, he took bath and he dressed himself in his suitable clothes, and he performed his daily worship. Bhagavatam says he performed his daily worship. He performed his chanting. Sunanda, Sunanda, they were all in airplane. They were all waiting. So and he bowed down. So then he bowed down to all the residents of Badrikashrama and took their blessings, and he prepared everything and started and went to board the plane. Here, very importantly, we have to understand Dhruva was going to ascend to the Vaikunta, to the airplane. So he was personally sent by the Lord's Vishnu Dutas, and still he did not give up his daily worship. Just imagine there, Bhagavatam, how beautifully it says, when we have been told to do 16-hour chanting, tomorrow Vishnu Dutas are come with the airplane and they tell you are now qualified to go back to Goloka, please come. And probably we may leave the chanting back. Oh, anyway, I have qualified. I have, just like, because that is our mentality, right? So you're like, because of our exams, oh, pass, we have to pass in distinction or some percentage. Oh, I passed, forget. And next step, oh, forget. So we have been always in the thought that use the ladder and throw the ladder because already we've climbed it. So that kind of mentality we have. Here, Dhruva, despite that he was been said, he has been informed that you are qualified to go to Vaikunta, and but still did not give up that. He did all of his daily activities, his worship, and he worshipped the Lord and everything. He completely finished, and then he started boarding the plane. So the real goal of life is to serve Krishna, isn't it? The bhakti is such a thing that the goal and the means are both same. That's what Dhruva is trying to teach us here. It is not that the goal is something and means is something. That is the Mayavadi's philosophy. Because you use the ladder, and when you reach the goal, and you throw the ladder. That is not goal and means are same in the bhakti yoga. You are doing the devotional service here. When you go to spiritual house, you have to do devotional service. So we have to learn wonderful character from the Dhruva here, that he did not give up his duty, and although at the same time he offered his respects to all the sages of Badrikashrama. See, airplane came there. Okay, airplane came there to take the Dhruva, and not the sages, isn't it? And all the sages were there. Actually, in one sense, Dhruva was more qualified than any sages or the Brahmanas who were there around Dhruva. But we have to understand, Dhruva was more qualified than all the sages and the Brahmanas who were there. But still, Dhruva is showing his exhibiting his humility there, that how a devotee should be exemplary. he bowed down to all the devotees there and wanted and took the blessings from all the devotees there before entering the Vaikuntha. And there's even a tinge of pride was not there here. We can see, isn't it? He was not puffed up. Even though Vaikuntha Vasis were there and the airplane was just waiting there for him, and but still he was asking blessings. And what else? I've achieved. No, what else blessings I want now? But he is asking blessings before riding the airplane. So we have to understand in life that we are all tested in two things in our life. We're all tested in two things in our life. What are two things? One thing is we are all tested for our consistency in our failures. Prabhupada says this, that many times it so happens, when we face some failures and we lose inspiration, we lose the consistency in our efforts to achieve, to further take forward. So we are all tested in two things. One is our consistency in our failures, and when you are tested in our humility in our success. When there is humility in our success also, then what happens when we're successful? We become very proud. And where is the humility there? We become very puffed up because of our accomplishments, because of our success. So we are all tested here in two things in our life. So we should be consistent in even in the failure, and we should be very much humble even when we are successful. So humility in success and consistency in failure is very much that we have been tested. We all will tested. So here Dhruva Maharaj, I was very much. We have to learn this the success ingredient from the Dhruva Maharaj here, how he was so successful, and he started boarding. I'll take 2 more minutes because I'm already late. So the Dhruva Maharaj started boarding the flight, and actually there it says Dhruva Maharaj before boarding a flight also he circumambulated the airplane. He did pradakshina of airplane. So he circumambulated yeah, he circumambulated the airplane, and with the devotion he offered respect to the Vishnu Dutas, and then he started boarding the plane. So just imagine we have to learn everything. So you have to give respect to Vishnu and Vishnu's amshas. So because very much important, both are worshipable, isn't it? So here, Dhruva simply did not take it as a privilege, isn't it? Sorry, did not take it as a granted that now I have been granted with this thing because I have achieved. But he took it that privilege as a sense of respect and humility or gratitude. That's what it shows, right? When you're doing production of that aeroplane and praying of the namaskaram or the obeisances to the Vishnu Dutas and then boarding into that, isn't it? So, very importantly, it is showing here that he took it as a sense of that privilege. He took the privilege as a sense of not an achievement, not as not as something just granted, but he took it as a sense of respect, a sense of gratitude that he showed in this way. So that Bhagavatam says that he stepped on the head of a death personified, and he boarded the flight, and that's what it says. And when he started boarded the flight, and body became spiritualized. And Dhruva was not at all afraid of the death. That was sure, because very much Prabhupada says in that purport further that the end of this, that devotees of the Lord are never afraid of death, because they know that after this life, definitely they'll be going back to the spiritual world where they'll be continuing with their relationship with the Lord and the devotees. So this is very much important in our life. Dhruva also is showing in our life that when all the Badrika Vasis, all the sages of Badrika Ashrama, they did farewell, bid farewell to all the Dhruva, and finally when Dhruva boarded the flight, and wholeheartedly they were all celebrating so much things that such a great Dhruva. Actually, there was no sense of envy of even in any brahmanas or any sages in the Badrikashram. Oh, he's going there. We are all chanting for a long time. Nothing is happening. That is not all. Um, favorable to us. In fact, they were also happy. They are glorifying. They were celebrating the success of someone else achieving this goal. That's wonderful, right? So, not that I cannot go to Vaikuntha, someone is going to Vaikuntha, let me celebrate that. So that is important. So when immediately when the Dhruva is about, when the flight was about to take off, immediately something came to his thought. Dhruva, something came to his thought. That he was about to, the thought came, and immediately he was about to jump off from the airplane, and immediately, he wanted to say, stop, stop, stop. So the Vishnu Dutas, they got to know what is happening in Dhruva's mind, because Dhruva was thinking in a sense of, see, the last gratitude is also because of his mother. Mother was also alive. I don't know, so many years, right? So mother was also alive, and he was thinking, because of my mother, I was able to see Lord. Because of her inspiration, I was able to worship Lord Vishnu, and because of her guidance only, I got inspiration to see Lord Vishnu and get his blessings. I got a guru, everything because of her blessings. So immediately, he immediately remembered his mother, and he wanted to jump off from the airplane because I can't go without her. So here we have to understand that even though it is a bodily relationship, she has given birth to the Dhruva. Yes, bodily she is related, but we can spiritualize our bodily relationship also when we keep Lord in the center of our relationship. So body relationship was covered here into a spiritual relationship, right? Well, that's what very much important, because she had guided Dhruva for his achieving Lord Vishnu. So when Lord Vishnu, no, also Lord Vishnu knows everyone's heart. So immediately Nanda Sunanda said, "Don't worry, Dhruva, please sit down. We have made all the arrangements." They got to know from his heart that he is missing his mother. He wanted his mother also come along with him. So immediately the Nanda Sunanda, they said that, don't worry, see there, next. So they understood, and they showed something very exciting, which made Dhruva very exciting. So they saw that Dhruva, you see there, he pointed out to the other, the flight, other airplane, which has come from the Vaikunta, separate Vaikunta, where Mother Suniti was sitting there. And his heart was so completely satisfied. And in this way, both of them entered the Dhruva planet. So this is the power of bhakti. So even a disciple can, it shows that even a disciple can take his guru to the spiritual world. And that is the power of one's bhakti. That's what is saying that here. So Suniti, because she has not gone to the forest, she has not done any austerity, she had not done any tapasya. But even she was going to Vaikuntha means by the virtue of Dhruva's achievement. So this is very much important in our life. So even if we are not able to render specific service in our life, so Prabhupada says that we have to inspire others in the service so that they will be benefited. Not that I am not able to do some specific service. Why I have to tell someone else? No, even though you are not able to do some specific service or not being empowered or not being given responsible service to do that, but you should inspire someone else to take up that service so that they will be benefited. Who knows? Tomorrow they will go to back to garden and they say, "This fellow is the one who brought this. She is the one. She gave me the Bhagavad Gita and made me to read. And now I'm Vaikuntha. I want her also back to along with me. Who knows?" So this way, Dhruva entered the spiritual planet, and this is a wonderful story which we have to know that the such great lessons over a period of probably 5, 6 sessions we learned wonderful moral values and bhakti lessons which can really transform our lives in multifold. So next session we'll do wonderful pastime of Narottam Das Thakur. So we'll do some pastime of this Bhagavatam and this Chaitanya. So we'll do like this, and this will be very nice sandwich so that we can really relate. Otherwise, Dhruva means, oh, Dhruva, someone wrote story, what is there? But here, practical life also, what happened just few hundred years back, that also will just try to gel with two get things, and that will be really helpful for us to take inspiration and encouragement. So anyone has any questions? Else I will end the session. Hare Krishna. You're muted.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Anyone has any questions, or can we end the session? Okay. So thank you all for your patience for hearing. And next Monday again we'll all join. Please share this links to other people also, so that they also can take some wonderful insights from every lessons of Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Jai.